The day begins early for artisanal fishermen on the Galápagos Islands. Walter Borbor and his brother Jaime must travel farther and farther from port to get a decent catch. But even fishing with a line, the fish appear abundant in the shallow, nutrient-rich waters around the Galápagos Islands. Only small-scale fishing like this is allowed in the 74-kilometre periphery around the archipelago, which marks its marine reserve.
This is a World Heritage Site, and we must conserve and protect it. It would be good news if the reserve was expanded. That doesn't mean that fishing will be banned.
Even so, the fishermen feel the presence of the larger fishing fleets circling the reserve, especially when they find floating fish aggregating devices or FADs inside the protected waters.
Lately, the fish are scarcer. To be honest, there are a lot of industrial fishing boats around the islands, and they are stopping the ocean-going pelagic species from coming into the reserve. They come here to spawn and to feed.
Marine biologists say the waters around the islands provide a refuge for an array of migratory ocean-going species, from sharks to turtles. The ocean environment is a key attraction for tourists. There's a marvellous natural world in the Galápagos Islands that perhaps Charles Darwin didn't see, and that is the underwater world. Snorkeling is an activity almost anyone can do around the archipelago's pristine beaches, but that too depends on the health of the surrounding ocean. Conservationists propose expanding the marine reserve to nearly 446,000 square kilometres, more than 3 times the size of the existing protected area. But Ecuador's powerful fishing industry says the plan would punish local fishermen.
¿Qué representa eso? No representa solo el 33% de la captura.
What will this mean? We don't just lose 1/3 of our catch, but it also impacts on the viability of the business for many vessels. If we are expelled from Ecuadorian waters, we have to look for fishing grounds much further away, using more fuel and catching less fish.
Benincasa says the tuna fishing industry is worth $1.3 billion and represents nearly 200,000 jobs. Ecuador has the largest and most productive tuna fleet in the Eastern Pacific region and the second largest in the world. But ecologists say the expansion could be a win-win for conservation and fishing.
The
benefits in the long term are what matters. We see there is fishing pressure, and we want to manage the resources in a sustainable way. Marine reserves fulfill a super important role as a breeding ground, as an area where species can reproduce and grow, and this will mean greater benefits for fishing productivity too.
Ultimately, the decision lies with outgoing Ecuadorian President Lenín Moreno, who could sign a decree to pass the expansion into law before he leaves office in May. Otherwise, it could face delays. Ecuador has a responsibility to protect the World Heritage Site, says MP Juan Cárdenas.
Yo los entiendo, los justifico.
I understand the position of the fishermen, but they are not the interests of our nation.
But at a time of economic hardship and high unemployment, the fishing industry's view will hold sway. Opinion polls show the majority of Galapagos residents want to expand the reserve.